Hello, this is J.N.S, and I just want to cover this topic real quick. I want to see if I can present the video. This is from, let's see, this is from Farrakhan today. I'm not sure if I'll play it. Are you guys able to hear it? But for the playback, but let me just first play what he said, and I hope you guys can hear it. I'm still kind of new to the stream thing, but matter of fact, I could probably just look up to see. We'll look at the playback rather and see if well, I'll do that later. I'm not about to have you guys looking through that just because I don't have have it together right now. So let me just play it, and hopefully you guys can hear it.
This administration is good for us because of Trump's way. He is an anomaly. There's never been no president quite like Mr. Trump. There's something that he's doing. Trump is destroying every enemy that was an enemy of our rise. Who's the enemy of our rise? Is it the Department of Justice, where we get none? Is it Congress, where you make a law that favors us and then you turn around and destroy it? Is it the media that has destroyed every black leader that stood up for us? Martin Luther King suffered it. Malcolm suffered it. He's attacking the media, calls it fake news. We have been the victims of some fake news.
Yes.
He's beating up the FBI. Go at it, baby. Yeah. They've been beating the hell out of us ever since J. Edgar Hoover and the counter.
Okay, so you guys saw that. And so from his perspective, I believe his argument was Trump is good for black people in terms of showcasing the hypocrisy of America. I mean, obviously, he talked about how he went at the FBI, how he went at the media, calling them fake news. So that's pretty much the Drain the Swamp campaign. That energy, that was a part of Trump's campaign. You know, that was the narrative behind how he got into office, believe it or not. Is that even more so than the Trump racist thing, than the underground, the underbelly of middle America who was looking at it through the lens of race? And so, Farrakhan's disposition on that is, oh, Trump is good for black people. I don't think he meant it in a sense like we all need to go vote for Trump. I see the media spinning it to be more like an endorsement. But for one, the media is ignoring it. I'll say that. You got one aspect of the media ignoring this clip, and then it's going viral right now in real time by other people who are making it seem like it's an endorsement. They're like, oh, Farrakhan is endorsing Trump. You know, this is causing it's going viral right now. So it is causing like a little bit of a, fervor in terms of like, oh shit, like a lot of black Americans respect Farrakhan. A lot of black Americans are like, gonna, think like, oh shoot, because what they do is they know they have influencers, and the media and these apparatuses, they know who is influencing people. But I don't know if you guys remember in 2016 when that glitch happened, when the selectors were overruled by the Electoral College and to get Trump in there, that one-off, they doubled down. They literally kicked people off of YouTube who had influence that was riling up Americans against the establishment. Those who were going, I forgot, one of the cats had like 10 million subscribers, and he was one of the ones that was like, hey guys, we need to go vote for Trump. They kicked his ass off of YouTube. It was so many. They got at the black conspiracy theorists. They got all of them out the paint. In 2016, they cracked down. They cracked that whip, boy. I don't know what else to say it. But because they freaked out. They was like, whoa, because that was not supposed to happen. He was a protest candidate for the selectors. And the selectors, and at that time they had selected Hillary, and the electoral, him and his crew, they bodied that shit, at a higher level. And they had those influencers. They had the people with the millions of subscribers, the millions of followers, or hundreds of thousands of followers, that was able to communicate to their people. We going with Trump, we going to da. And so Farrakhan, even alluding just a little bit that he said, just that 1 minute video that he said, where it can even be clearly interpreted to be an endorsement. That's a powerful. That's a problem for the selectors that are trying to swing this back to Biden. For the Democratic Party in particular, this is like, oh my gosh, like, ooh. And Black Americans are having this renaissance moment of cultural identity, of delineation, of coming up, like being more organized, is trying to really solidify our power base. And so, we're thinking about things politically in terms of what's in our best interest. And so Farrakhan coming out with this, they are not going to take this lightly. And that's why they are ignoring it. That's why they're trying to, it was going viral on Twitter and it was trending, but they're trying to, just downplay it, because they don't want a lot of Black people, whether they Islamic or not, they respect Farrakhan. It's a lot of us that we have nothing to do with Islam, but we still like the Nation of Islam. Some of us, we look at Savior's Day. I've done research for the Nation of Islam and for that whole movement. I did archival research for a museum exhibition where I had firsthand access to like the letters that they were writing to one another during the Black Power struggle movement in the 1960s. The rift between Islam, those who left with Malcolm X and those who stayed with Elijah Muhammad, the NOI, like it got real. And I saw like the letters firsthand, letters written by Malcolm X, letters written by other members who were founding chapters and stuff. And we had to collate all this research, digitize it. And then it was for a museum exhibition. And it was quite interesting. Then I did an interview with NOI member that had went with Malcolm, because it was a big rift. It was a big split. And whew, they are both are well organized, believe it or not. Like, even though they had that split, and one went one way, one went the other way. Oh, the people I interviewed, I went on a turf to go get that interview, and boy, do I tell you, they owned that whole motherfucking plaza out there. It was in a nice area too in Georgia, and it was real clandestine. It wasn't like you would never know. You would have thought you was going into a white area. These were Black Americans. They owned the whole plaza out there, and that plaza was so nice. And they had braiding shops, and they had obviously a mosque. They had a restaurant, grocery store. They had all types of shit out there. Barber shop, of course. Very nice cars, and they had, you could tell they had some nice security too. You ain't just, you just didn't go up on there and just infiltrate their shit. They knew who was all around. And so I had an interview with one of them brothers who was he was real old at the time. He was old enough to probably be my grandpa, but he was a part of that whole movement. I talked with him. And then after that, we did that interview. Then we had some speakers come in. And it was hard, even just like, I mean, every time they was trying to show us stuff. And one time we did a speaker actually that came in, but also we did like phone interview too with some of these people from the NOI. And I remember my professor at the time, he was like, oh, it was so much interference trying to just talk. And at that time, I didn't really know I knew about COINTELPRO, obviously, but I didn't know how deep that shit is. Like, where, like, to this day, because that was like in 2016, mind you, right? Or was it? No. 2016, 2015, 2016. I believe it was 2016. But, or 2015, one of them. But I just remember, like, we couldn't hear. It was just getting cut off, cut back on, cut off, cut back on. And my professor said, they watching us. It's interference. You know how they do. And I just remember thinking, like, what? And then that's when it clicked on my head, like, is the work I'm doing that damn radical? Like, I didn't realize, like, the work I was doing was that motherfucking, like, I just thought it was just, I was interested in learning about NOI and all that stuff in that whole time period. So us putting that research together for that museum, and it was like a group of us, a small group of us, mostly Black Americans or Muslim, and we were putting that all together for that exhibition, and it was really cool. And then we digitized it. It's still digitized. It was funded by two institutions at that time. It's still there. But yeah, we was looking at them letters, and they were like, one of the guys that I interviewed, they were crying because he said you don't know how hard that was back then to stand up for like that. He said motherfuckers. He said motherfuckers disappeared, literally out their house. Like we saw dudes with the black trucks with the black suits, white dudes pull up, grab a motherfucker out their house. FBI. He said grab these motherfuckers out their house, and we never motherfucking heard from them again. Just never saw them again. Like didn't hurt. Like they just disappeared off the face of the earth. And he said people disappear. He said people got set up and killed. He said not just you can see the Malcolm X's or whatever. You see them and they take the hits or whatever. But he said it was regular people that nobody will ever know their name that got fucking killed, houses burnt down, bullets shot in the head, and all this stuff. And he just was crying. He said, "Yo, it was a miracle." He said we stood up for that shit. Like we wanted that stuff so bad, as far as the self determination, the things they wanted, the things that they were talking about, the NOI. And he said that shit was not easy. He was crying. He was like, it was not easy. And we felt that, man. We felt that. We felt that so hard. So my point isn't saying that. Like I know I went off a tangent on a tangent, but my point for saying that is, even though a lot of Black Americans are not Islamic, we still have respect for the NOI. In some regards, we see some things that they do that's problematic. I didn't agree with the Church of Scientology thing. I thought that was left with the Dianetics and Ron L. Hubbard. No, I don't support that at all. Nope, no way. But as far as their organizing ability, and their ability to organize Black men, yeah, that's definitely commendable. And so him talking about Trump is good for Black folk. Oh, you better believe they on alert. They're like, damn, he about to wake these niggas up. Oh, they about to really get some wheels turning in their heads. You think they mad at the Democrats now? Oh, good God. Once this thing go more viral than what it is, oh, they gonna have some problems on their hands, boy. They gonna have some problems on their hands. Just like they was getting upset because they said that the the men were becoming very disillusioned with Biden more so than the women, and they wanted to do like, oh, the women are voting for the Democrats and the men are not voting, or they're voting for Republicans, and they was trying to pull that. But I think everybody is disillusioned with that whole with the whole Democratic Party. I really do. I don't think it's a gender thing. I think generally speaking, anybody that has a modicum of intelligence is sick and tired of the chicanery. I think that it's like, yo, like you running us on a hamster wheel, psychologically and politically, and it's just not going to serve us anymore. And so with Farrakhan having the respect that he has amongst Black Americans, of their religion, regardless of their religion whatsoever. It's niggas, man. We grew up hearing about them bean pies. And I used to see them brothers with the last call. They used to have them papers out in Buffalo, New York. And they used to sit out there and sell them newspaper. They was still selling them newspapers out there when I was a little girl in the 90s. And selling them bean pies. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. The bean pie never looked I was more of a sweet potato head. Like I like sweet potatoes, sweet potato pie and apple pie. And I ain't gonna hold you. I never had a bean pie. I used to see it all the time though, growing up. I saw bean pies like a motherfucker growing up. But I never said, let me go and sit down or let me buy a bean pie. I would get that paper. I bought that newspaper before I bought the bean pie. But apparently Black Americans love bean pie. I'm telling you, from experience, every time they say, oh yeah, them bean pies is good. And so this is, even though it's a religious institution as far as NOI, and even though, they have organized around a belief system, they still have a a great deal of respect as a pillar amongst of the everyday Black American, the everyday. Especially with the Savior's Day, I've listened to all the Savior Day speeches because I was doing research on this stuff. So again, and writing papers on this stuff. So I remember looking at all the Savior Day speeches, looking at all that stuff. The fruit of the obviously the fruit of Islam. Then they had a training program for the women. I remember doing some archival research about that, the training program for the women. Let me see, what was that thing they used to have? Let me see if I can Google it. Nation of Islam was a training program um, for the women. Muslim girls training. Yeah, it was called the General Civilization Class. Muslim girls training, the all female training program. Yep, I was doing research on this too. Yeah, and so yeah, you had the fruit of Islam, obviously, in the University of Islam. Yep, yep. But the person that I spoke with, the one that spoke with all of us, he was from. He went to the University of Islam, and he was telling us about that from his firsthand experience. Yeah, and so the women, they were learning sewing, cleaning, child rearing, cooking, nutrition, housekeeping, personal hygiene, and self defense, and they were held once a week. And so this was what's happened. This was what was happening for Black Americans, and many Black Americans gravitated towards this. They thought it was just something that was really cool. It would be really nice if we had something like that to come back. With me, I just don't believe with putting it under religious belief necessarily, but I think if we had like a general civilization class just for the community in general, I think that would be cool. And believe it or not, like a lot of my templates and frameworks that I've designed for Black American organization in terms of enterprise architecture, well, I was also obviously inspired by business theory, but it was also inspired by what I was studying in the Nation of Islam. Like I studied this group very intensely for quite a bit. I told you guys about the museum exhibition, but I took a whole class on this. It was I should probably look up the class, but it wasn't called Nation of Islam. It was something on Islam in general. But I'm telling you, we spent weeks on the Nation of Islam. Weeks, months actually. You got about 3 months in a semester. I think we spent like 2 months just studying this group. And we were able to pick a project, and so I picked them as my focus group. And then in another class, we were required to interview the Nation of Islam, but that's the split. The split. Let me get the name of that group of the split, because they had a specific name too. The two branches. I'm trying to get that other. Not the one that was obviously you had Wallace Fard Muhammad, but it was the other one. When Malcolm X left, he took quite a bit of people with him, and I'm trying to get that group. It started with an A. The name started with an A. Started with the A. Damn, I'm trying to look for it. The group and they were very clandestine. They weren't they kept it real smooth, but I know they had a whole plaza out there in Georgia. I know that for a fact. So I went out there. I know they had a whole block. They were very quiet about it too. They weren't making no noise or nothing, but I'm trying to get the name of that. Now, because they had the Sunni Shia, that traditional Islam, but no, this group, they practiced traditional Islam, but they were calling themselves a different name. I'll find it later. I'll find it. Oh man. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, so this is definitely gonna cause some stir, with him saying, Trump is good for and it's 2024, and a lot of people are waking up. A lot of people are disillusioned. A lot of people are young. The young people, they may not know what's much of going on, but they know in their spirit, something ain't right with them Democrats, boy. Something ain't right with them. And so, I don't necessarily think the solution is to go with the GOP. I think that we should put some pressure on uh GOP, but I mean, and they're kind of loosey goose to me too, because they have an opportunity to set up voting block within Black America if they were to offer something specific for the Black American community, but they have to pander to their base. And if their base is still their solid base, because I think their base is moving more towards America first, America minded. Black Americans are American. And so the average white person, what was in the past, how the Democrats used to phrase that was, look at these white people that are so racist, that only want America first. They want America first. And then like the Black American is kind of like, oh yeah, they're racist, yeah. It's like, hold up, I'm a fucking American too. I am the epitome of the definition of an American. Literally here for hundreds and hundreds before the country's formation, before America was America, before it was a constitution. And so Black Americans are realizing that, like, wait a minute, we talking about American first. Do that mean American manufacturing coming back? Do that mean an increase in jobs? Do that mean investment in the education sector? Do that mean investment in the American lives and our businesses and the things we want to do? Do we get business tax credits? Do we get policies for our specific communities? Do we get more things that more agricultural incentives as Black America? Like all these things that we thinking of, like when we think of America first, and it's like, what's wrong with America first? And so back then in 2016, the Democrats was really like propagandizing like this idea of you can't be America for America, Black Americans. Remember, you from Africa, you a slave from Africa, so you ain't really, they try to put us in that immigrant boat. And it's like, nah, motherfucker, it's a new day and age. It's 2024. It's like, nah, my people's been here for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Hundreds. Yes, we're definitely American. And so we don't get no benefits rolling with this Democrat Party in terms of how they just bringing in all of these immigrants and giving them all of our resources and benefits. We don't benefit from that. Did you see what they was doing out there in them airports and in them hotels? How they were treating these people, did you see SR 572 and what's that other bill? I used to have a copy of them because I used to go and read them all on Clubhouse every day when we was really out there pushing that line against a moratorium on immigration. But that's beside the point. But it's like, how do we benefit from this shit? How do we benefit from voting for Democrat? And all y'all do is undermine us with some random ass groups. Nah, it's America first. And so I'm just saying, objectively, that's what Black Americans are thinking about. They may not be voicing it. And again, like I was saying in that other video, a lot of Black Americans, they secretly be conservative. They be secretly, they don't tell their families. I remember I was saying in the other video, I was talking with Black Americans, talking with them in 2020. And I remember they was like, oh man, I ain't too keen on them Democrats. I ain't voting for Biden. People in Georgia, they was secretly going to vote for Trump. Even people in New York. And New York is liberal and is always going to, there was Black Americans in New York going to a ballot, voting for Trump, even though they knew New York was going to go Democrat. That's how much they didn't give a fuck. They was going in there voting for motherfucking Trump. Black Americans. And then being real secretive about it. I know the rest of our people, they want to go for Biden, but no, I ain't going for that. I ain't rocking with none of that shit. I'm going, and this is what they were saying. And so I know if we was all clandestine back then, and you got Farrakhan saying what he's saying, and you got the disillusion, and now you got more Black Americans with more knowledge of the political process and how these people have been undermining us. Oh, it's about to be a shit show in 2024. It's going to be the biggest shit show. You thought that shit show in 2020, how they paused that electoral, that voting count. on live television, and the screen go blank, and then it come back on, and then we show Trump getting washing Biden, then all of a sudden winning the next morning. Like weird shit like that. Like, nah, we about to see some more other shit in 2024 because they can't use that black like we know what we saw in 2020 when we still had a lot of Black Americans that turned a blind eye to that shit because they wanted Biden in there for whatever reason. It wasn't, and we saw them like doing this, there was some clips going around of what Black Americans was doing as far as those who were counting the votes and stuff. They're not going to be doing that shit in 2024. So they can't pull the same move. You can't strike thunder twice. You don't hit gold twice like that. How they pulled that shit in 2020. They ain't going to be able to pull that same move. They're not. It'll be too obvious. Too many people watching them. The Americans are disillusioned in general. Black Americans are disillusioned. And they realize they want to make moves. It's like what happens when we want to run for president, when we want to do things, when we want to get involved, when we want to really infiltrate politics. What happens? You're going to remove us off the ballot? You're going to pull what you pulled in 2020? So it's going to be a real shit show, the election. It's going to be a real shit show. And it is spiritual warfare in a sense of, once I said, these bloodline families, these secret society feuding one another and can't get on the same page and will not get on the same agenda. See, for years, they were on the same agenda. And so you didn't have all this fallout. But you got one part of the family that says, look, we ready to roll with the Watchers. We ready to roll with this interdimensional. They said they want something different. We ready to go with them. And then you got the other side that's like, no. We want to continue doing this trafficking. We want to continue doing what we've been doing. And we don't want to answer to nobody. And so they hanging on with a kung fu death grip. They do not want to give up that power. They do not want to hand over or honor them treaties and honor what they said they was going to do. All this was hundreds of years old, planned in advance. It's prophecy playing out. It's literally prophecy playing out. And so they going to the extreme. They going now. It's like, let's get this motherfucker off the ballot because Trump is like, look, he gonna honor what the Watchers say. Trump is like, look, I'm from the old Vanguard bloodline. Look, he went rogue. He went renegade. He like, look, I don't want that falling on my head. That's why he protected like that. That's why you see everybody, the WikiLeaks, all this stuff coming out with all these things these politicians done, all this stuff these politicians are involved in, all the sinister stuff they in. And every time they try to get him on something, he just keep ducking and dodging. It's for a reason. Because all of this is based off of, they do rituals. And so they rituals is not working on him. And so now they resorting to some big wig stuff. They're like, let's just take this motherfucking name off the ballot. We won't, you keep doing it because he doing his rituals and he getting further and further, getting out of jail in Atlanta. He do his little thing. He got his team with him. And then so they said, look, we gonna fix your ass. We gonna just take your ass off that ballot. Because it's a cold world, man. And we talk about like, the occult wars and all that. That shit is real. These niggas is feuding it out at the top. You could feel it too. You could feel it. But the thing is, one side is more powerful than the other side. And so the other side is just like, screw you. The other side is like, screw your Watchers. Screw the change of Vanguard. Screw all this energy that y'all talking about that's coming in. This Vanguard that y'all pushing. Screw all that. We'll fix you. We'll do this. You say go right, we gonna go left. You say go up, we gonna go down. You say do right, we gonna do wrong. This is how these people think. This is how this is how they think. That's why they don't have no problem committing sodomy in Congress. That's why they had no problem showing going topless at the White House, showing titties at the White House, seeing children going into buses and all this stuff from the White House. Oh, they don't care. They wanted to send a message like, we gonna do what that's what they were trying to show. We are going to continue to do what we've been doing for all these decades. And we not stopping it. Because now it's a part of their rituals. Now the thing is, their little jinns and stuff they be summoning, them little demons and jinns that they be working with, they defected. They no longer working under that regime. they don't have to answer to that power no more because it's a bigger power. And I know I'm talking occult, we getting esoteric now. We getting real esoteric. But they don't have to answer to them to that power because a big dog them step down. This is what they not telling you. And so they freaking out the other side is literally like, why is our shit not working? And they be really going hard, like summoning and conjuring, doing it to go at certain people. And then the shit don't be working and they trying to figure out why it's not working. And it's because those energies are submissive to the people. They realize like, yo, the big dog really don't step back in this bitch on planet Earth. It really is a new energy that floodgated this planet. It's really going down. And so those energies are submissive to that big dog energy. And we all know what I'm talking about. We all know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, you know, yeah, that energy done came down. It's here. And so that energy is like, you asking me, like the Democrat, like these occultists and the DNC and all that stuff, the ones that they be, you know how they be doing their little spirit cooking and stuff. They summon up a jinn or whatever to go at so and so, and then they thinking that it's just a regular human, or they thinking that it's a regular, but they don't know that that person is really, you know, how do I explain this? Or I'll just give a better example so you can understand me better. They'll summon up a jinn to go after a powerful person that they'll know they're powerful, but they still think they can, you know, throw some dents at them, not knowing that that person is protected by the big dog. These motherfuckers were so stupid. They was they was summoning like legions to go after the big dog themselves. That's how stupid these people are. And it's like, we see they stuff just falling apart. We see the collapse. We see this stuff just falling apart. So the 2024 election, y'all gonna see exactly what I'm seeing, what I'm talking about. Y'all gonna see it in real time. Like, yo, like this shit is this is some other type stuff. And I'm gonna just be sitting here with, I might have some popcorn. I don't know. I might get me some popcorn. I'll be like, yeah, I'm probably gonna get me some popcorn. I'm gonna just sit and watch the shit show. And watch what I'm seeing play out. I'm gonna just see it play out in real time. I'm gonna see it played out in real time. Yep. So that's what I wanted to cover. Yeah. Yeah, that Farrakhan stuff is gonna be real interesting. I'm glad he said something on it. I really am. He's one of the few. It's not a lot of men that really get my goat. Whatever you think, and yeah, I don't agree with whatever the Malcolm X stuff yet, but I respect Farrakhan's ability to organize and to harness that respect from the broader community. I respect that. I do. I just don't like that Scientology thing. I do not think Black Americans should be going nowhere 10 feet near Scientology. And I'll say that openly. I'll say that. No, I don't think Black Americans should be going nowhere near Scientology with L. Ron Hubbard and Aleister Crowley, but good friends. We all know that's a cult. And L. Ron Hubbard, he's the founder of Scientology. He said it himself. He said, if I can, the quickest way to get rich is to start a religion. And how much did he rack up in a span of 10 years? $210 million from Scientology. And he said, I'm going to start a religion knowing that I can get rich. He said, I'm going to just start it just because I know motherfuckers going to follow it. Look it up. L. Ron Hubbard. And then the Dianetics with the mind control and the swiping of the. And I read the Dianetics book some years ago. And I knew it didn't resonate with my soul. I said, oof. And I knew he was an OTO. L. Ron Hubbard was an OTO. That's an occult group with Aleister Crowley. They were very good friends. And yeah, so I don't think that was always a psyop. That was always funded from the highest levels. If you look up how that stuff started and who they was all involved with, yeah, I never felt like that should have been promoted to our community, not even remotely, not even a little bit. And that happened recently. They weren't always on that shit. They weren't always on that. And so that to me, what I thought was a pivot that should not have ever happened. And I don't think it's as popular now because I think so many Black Americans spoke out against it. Like, no, we ain't doing that Scientology shit. I think so many people spoke out against it that it just never got its footing in our community, and thank God, because it is nothing but psychological mind control, started by some powerful occultists from the OTO. It's as simple as that. And you can look this research up yourself. And dietetics, and you go swipe your mind, and what is it? You got to do a clearing or some shit like that of your memories of your subconscious mind, all that stuff. And you know, I'm off of people coming up with innovative philosophies to help humanity. I've come up with the Nakhti philosophy and come up with things where, but that shit got to be from the soul. Like, God got to get at it. You got to be, you know, to me, you got to be inspired from the Godhead. But starting something just so you can get some money, or so you can control somebody or try to control people, or get something at the expense of other people. No, I ain't with that shit. And that's why I never liked Scientology. I never liked that shit. But other than that, a lot of the people in NOI, from my personal experience, they do want to do good for their community. They do want to do the right thing. You know, it's many of people in the Nation of Islam that are using it to better their lives. A lot of people change their lives off of that information. A lot of people change their lives off of just the stuff that Malcolm X was saying. You know, even if they didn't join Nation of Islam. I grew up, I was what, young as fuck, looking at that stuff that Malcolm X was putting out. You know, obviously I read the autobiography as a very young girl, but the speeches, I was required to watch every single last speech that he ever made. It was a professor. Oh, this was when I was an undergrad. This was 10 years ago, actually. It was actually an African, an African professor. He literally spent the time, and he collated every single speech that Malcolm X ever had. Literally every speech, every speech. Oh, and the class was called, like, it was a class on Black American relationships, but I think they were using the term African American, of course. And I remember we was required to watch every speech and then write a paper on it. And that just always that always really, you know, I was young at that time. In undergrad, I was about 20 years old, and watching every single last speech, that shit changed my life. Like, that was very memorable for me. I remember where I was when I was watching them speeches. I remember what I was doing. I remember uh what I had on. You know, like, that's just one of the moments in life where you'll never forget it. You know, you'll just never forget something like that. And I remember thanking him. Like, I remember really enjoying that he put all that together and forced us. Like, it was like, you want to pass you want to pass the course. You're gonna write you're gonna watch every Malcolm X motherfucking speech, and your ass gonna write a paper on it. So I respected him for that. That was an African, you know. as much as we get on them, I have to say I respect that. Yeah, but that's what I got to say about that. I'm thinking about doing a video on either the TD Jakes situation, or that situation with Simone Biles and her guy. I forgot his name. Her husband, rather. Her husband. I forgot his name. But I was thinking about doing, because and I'm not going to attack it again from the gossip point of view. I really, really am disturbed by the energy behind that Simone Biles and her husband situation. And it's, to me, I'm going to talk about it from the broader implications between the respect that Black men and Black women, the lack of respect that Black men and Black women show one another in general. So it will not be just focusing necessarily on that particular situation. I like to see, like, the fallout, the discourse behind the whole thing. And I ain't gonna hold you, like I'm just triggered. I'm like, oh my gosh, let me turn this stuff off. You know how I'm like, I shouldn't be looking at this stuff, and I know it's gonna rile me up. And I've always been riled up behind, you know, like, a lot of the relationship dynamics in our community, because I'll be studying that stuff from a scholarly point of view. But, like, that really had triggered me. And I'm just like, and it's not from the point of, oh, you know, the male did this, the man did this, the woman did this, the woman did. I'm sick of both of you. I'm just sick of the disrespect that y'all show each other. That shit really gets my goat. Like, I really, and it's not, obviously it's not all Black Americans, right? It's not all of us. But just seeing like this constant thread of disrespect um between men and women in our community, and then the justification on both sides. Like both sides try to justify it all the time. And I'm just sick of it. And I'm like, you know what? I can't, so I might do that, or I might do something more lighthearted, because I don't know if I want to get myself worked up, and then like probably tomorrow I probably just won't even care about it. But that TD Jakes thing, I want to do more of the esoteric breakdown behind the sex magic ritual, as far as like the Diddy party and all that. I want to break that down because I got some very controversial views on that stuff. But I also, there's a lot of people that, they clowning him, they laugh, they making a laughing matter, laughing joke. But um to me, I have a different perspective on it. However, they saying that he was doing something with kids and all that, and I'm like, I don't have no proof of that. So my thing is, if he did go to a Diddy's party, that's his motherfucking business. But at the same time, it's like, if he ain't do nothing illegal, if he ain't do nothing against somebody's consent, he really ain't do nothing wrong. The thing is, they say you're a pastor, and pastor's not supposed to be doing da da da. We all know they do them sex magic rituals. That's what they go into them parties to do it. And my thing is, I would never allow, if I was his wife, he would never be allowed to go to a Diddy party. Matter of fact, let me end the video so I could probably just stay on topic and do that video separately. I'm gonna just end the video and then get back on here with the TD Jakes joint, because I don't want to go off topic in this video. So, she said, girly girl lock said, please do both TD Jakes and Simone Biles. Okay, we might. Sure, I'm gonna come back on here. I'm about to end it, and then I'm gonna come back on here and probably do. What do I want to get into? Like, I'm trying to, I like to do things. I go off the energy with everything I do, whatever my heart is in. Because I know if I do that Simone Biles, I gotta kind of be in a more calm head space, because I don't want to be going off on the Black American community like that, screaming and hollering at them, chastising them. Well, I want to be more. I want to have more love in my heart when I do that video, because I'm pissed at the disrespect of each other. I really am. I'm pissed at that. I don't like the way we approach relationships, man. When the person you love, the person you married to, and that go for men and women. I'm not singling neither one of you guys out. I'm gonna bring examples, because this is broader. I had other examples in mind that I wanted to talk about too, not just the Simone Biles thing. But I don't like the belittling that y'all do of each other. I'm just tired of this belittling thing. I'm tired of it. So I'm gonna take a 5-minute break, and I'm gonna get back on here. Okay, I'm gonna talk to y'all later.